Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today for another thought from the Bible. I'm coming to you from here in Liberia in West Africa, but I'm actually not here right now. I'm on holiday for a few weeks, traveling out of the country, but I thought I would record a few videos to keep going while I'm away, to keep encouraging you with these little thoughts from the Bible, these little moments where God can speak to us through his word. But apologies if I don't respond to any comments or messages in the coming weeks, because I may not have regular access to internet, and I'm hoping to have a good few weeks of unwinding and relaxing in a very different environment to that here in Liberia. But if you're really missing interacting with me, you can always pick up a copy of my book, Mountain Immovable. It's for sale on Amazon in the UK, US, Australia, all across Europe. Anywhere there's an Amazon, you can get hold of this book for some further encouraging and some challenge in your life in the coming weeks. Now, often as I'm at home doing whatever I'm doing, working, cooking, cleaning, whatever it may be, I'll have a little bit of music playing in the background. I'll put Spotify on and have some kind of random playlist that's introducing me to some new music or some music I know really well, whatever it is, something that's just on in the background. And recently I was doing just that when a song that I hadn't heard before came on, or a song I'd not really paid much attention to anyway, and there was one verse in it that really made me stop and think. The song itself was called Reason, and it's by a band called Unspoken, and these are the lyrics from that verse. It said, "If we could pull back the curtain of heaven, we would see his hand on everything. Every hour, every minute, every second, he's always been in it. Don't let a shadow of a doubt take hold. Hold on to what you already know." Now, I just love how God can speak to us through absolutely anything. He can speak to us through his word. He can speak to us through a song, through the wonder of nature. He can speak to us through another person, through a sermon, through a message. There are so many different ways that he can speak, that he can attract our attention and say something to our hearts. And I absolutely loved the thought as I listened to this song that if we could really, truly see how much God is involved in our lives, it would blow our minds. In every hour, every minute, even every second, he is involved. He is in it. It's all too easy, though, for doubt to take hold in our minds, because we may not feel that God is actively involved in our lives right now. If we're not seeing the physical evidence of that with our own eyes, then our minds may start to deceive us a little bit. They may start saying things like, "God's not interested in me. God's not interested in the work that I'm doing. God has abandoned me. Why else would I be in this situation? How could God possibly be at work in this?" You get the idea. And yet, as that song reminds us, we can hold on to the truths that we already know, the amazing, incredible promises that God has given to us in his word. Those promises tell us that his hand is on everything, the author of creation, the creator of absolutely everything that we can see, in whom and through whom it was made and is sustained. That is the God who is also at work in us, in our lives. regardless of what we can see with our eyes, regardless of the evidence that may be before us, we can hold on to those truths that we know. And it's through those promises that we can remind ourselves that He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. This is active involvement right here. He is actively watching and ready to step in to stop you from slipping when it all feels like too much. In the book of John, we hear Jesus saying, "My Father is always at work to this very day, and I too am working." Always, all the time, God is at work. For it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill His good purpose. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. The God who never slumbers, who never sleeps, who is actively keeping your foot from slipping. That God is always at work, all of the time. And that work involves fulfilling His good purpose through you and in you, helping you to will and to act, to think and to respond in the right way to the call on your life. And that work is for your good, you who have been called by Him. Yes, God is at work in the great, massive things that are going on in this world. He's involved on a country level, on a global level, but He is also involved in an individual level. He is actively involved in your life because He cares for you, because He loves you so dearly. Isn't that absolutely amazing? I just love this thought that one day we'll get to heaven, and I kind of picture it like there being a TV screen showing our lives and what happened through them, and in those moments where we felt like we were alone and we felt like it was all a little bit too much and it seemed like everything was going wrong, in those moments that we thought we were beyond redemption, in it all, we will see how God's hand was at work in every single moment. And on the flip side of that, even in those times where everything seemed to be going well and we suddenly had inspiration and came up with really good ideas and everything seemed to just fall into place, we'll see how much God was involved in those moments as well, because He is at work. He is involved. He cares about you and He wants to see the best in your life, the good in your life. He is working for your good and for His glory, even if we can't see it. I wonder, in those moments that felt like the worst in our lives, if we'll see just how much God was doing through those moments. How our biggest disappointments might have been saving us from something that was so much worse. How our biggest moments of confusion were leading us to a greater understanding of His love and His compassion and His mercy and His grace. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. He's not going to stop. He's not giving up on you. He won't stop working with you and walking with you. In every hour and minute and second, he is working to complete that good work he began in your life. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. If you feel a bit like you're falling apart today, don't worry. Hold on to that truth that you know. He is holding you together. He is in this day. He is in this moment, right here and right now. He is at work and he is holding you. And I encourage you today, why not ask him? Why not take a moment right now and say, God, please show me. Show me you at work in this day, whatever it holds, no matter if it's a big day with important things on or just a run-of-the-mill ordinary day with nothing particularly interesting happening. Ask him, God, open the eyes of my heart and let me see you at work in my life, because I can guarantee you he is at work in your life. Thank you so much for joining me for that thought from the Bible. I'll be back next week on Wednesday with another pre-recorded video, so I will see you then.